What do you notice when you draw? When you really observe what's going on around you in the middle of life happening? For me, it wasn't just landscapes and buildings. This sketchbook helped me see where I was, even when I felt a bit lost. These first sketches of a Buddhist stupa were done in the hills around Kandy. Living in the city, honestly, we just needed a break from the constant traffic noise, and getting into the hills was a perfect way to escape. This is a sketch of Ollie doing some homeschooling and a visit to the local barber. These are the sort of experiences you only really get when you travel long term, as we are slow travelling as a family. This is Emily, my daughter, also doing some homeschooling. And around this time, I just focused on sketching everyday household scenes. And looking back at it now, it helps me to remember how precious a time we spent as a family. I even sketched the local corner store where we were on first name terms. These two sketches were done from reference photos, and it's interesting to me that when looking back at them, they don't conjure the same depth of emotion as the ones done in real life. The strange thing about Kandy is that it's quite hard to get a view of the city. That was until we found this rooftop swimming pool at a hotel where we could look down into the town. I've often thought that a change in viewpoint really helps to make a deeper shift in perspective. Looking back at the sketch on the right, I can almost taste the delicious food this street vendor was selling. The next part of our journey took us to New Delhi in India, where we stayed in house caste at a place that overlooked house caste tomb. On the right, there's the Red Fort, which is a tourist trap, but nevertheless spectacular. We escaped the intense hustle and bustle of New Delhi and headed north to the state of Uttarakhand in the Himalaya, where we stayed in a village called Falsima, which was near Almora. The landscapes were breathtaking, and I found it deeply inspirational. For me, time seemed to slow down here, and with that I began to notice more detail in our surroundings. I spent a lot of time sketching sunsets, clouds, mountains, trees, anything that would catch my attention, such as this meadow. I sketched it on a number of different occasions, and each time I noticed something different about the way the light was falling. For the first time since I was a teenager, I felt like I was beginning to lose myself in my art once again. By that I mean I would start a sketch and an hour would pass in the blink of an eye. I found that renewed sense of presence and purpose incredibly nourishing. And that all started less than a year ago with a daily sketching practice. The thing with Falsima was that we couldn't see views of the greater Himalaya, something that Uttarakhand is famous for. So we headed to Binza National Park, a couple of hours drive away, where we stayed at a homestay that was only accessible on foot. But there, something unexpected happened. Somewhere behind here is the greater Himalaya. But I literally can't see any of it this afternoon or this evening. So tomorrow's our last morning, so I'll give it one last bash tomorrow morning to see if I can get a memento of our time here. We'll see. And sure enough, the following morning I left the homestay pictured on the left and headed up to the same viewpoint. But sadly, the greater Himalaya were nowhere to be seen through the thick smog, and I guess that's the problem with setting expectations. What sketching in Binzar taught me was that I nearly missed the beauty of what I could see for the beauty of what I wanted to see. That was until the hike out, where we used mules to carry our bags. So on our walk out, we've been going up the hill to where our taxi is meeting us. There's no road access to where we were staying. As we've gained elevation, we can see across the top of the smog layer and the mountains have reappeared. And I just had time to do a couple of quick sketches. Where's that? Our time in the mountains had come to an end, and it was time to head back to New Delhi. So as you can see, the sketchbook is full of imperfect paintings, some better than others. But that wasn't the point. It helped me create a deeper sense of connection with my surroundings and memories that will last forever. So if you're new to sketching, maybe a sketchbook could do the same for you. What if it's not about perfect drawings, but rather presence through observation?